Hi class, my name is Daniel Moran and this is my second video of the journal project. So I will jump right into the questions, the first being about the one thing I learned about creativity in this section of Creativity Rising. So that would be the role attitude plays in our creative behavior. First of all, before finishing the reading, I already knew motivation influences how creative we are. However, last section shows us that different environments, positive or negative, can lead us to create. I mention this because this time it is only a positive attitude that can benefit our creativity. More specifically, through the intrinsic motivation of eliminating external rewards. In addition to this, another thing I learned that can relate to this is our relevancy and novelty structures. These are the two parts of creative problem solving that mention actually solving a problem as well as doing it in an original way. So moving on to the second question, the myth I found the most interesting is definitely the brainstorming myth from David Burkus' podcast. I can't explain how happy I was to hear about this because as I was a kid in school, I faced several situations and assignments in classes where even after I believed I had reached my great idea, the teachers would insist on the benefit of brainstorming and just putting it out there. I feel like having a few ideas and then choosing one is helpful, but I think that forcing a certain number of bullet points or ideas, that doesn't seem like a proper approach in my eyes. It's not something I'm comfortable with. So the third question is the reason I think creativity is important to all companies and organizations is because of two things. First of all, because we are now living in the most competitive business era ever, and also because employee morale plays a huge role in how companies develop. Going back to my first point, it is clear that in today's world, businesses look for any advantage they can get, and creativity is what brings these new ideas, concepts, and business opportunities. One example I found online talks about Walmart's decision to have management meetings on Saturday mornings, putting them on par with the store associates who had to work all weekend. These Saturday meetings became iconic for Walmart, turning it into once a month gathering where management would even bring their families, and it created a much more family like business. So this example goes on to show that creativity is not only important in the development of new technology or in the marketing department, but also in how you handle your employees' morale and the working environment as a whole. The common approaches that we've seen are convergent and divergent thinking, which, as explained in the readings, mean finding one solution or being more creative and generating a large number of alternative responses. So one of the concepts inside this, which in creative thinking that intrigued me, was incubation. This is because it is a type of concept that you probably haven't thought of before, but once you hear about it, it instantly makes sense. Feeling overwhelmed when trying to think of an idea or a solution to a problem usually hinders the creative process and ends up causing more problems than solutions. So the last question is the only question for which I didn't prepare because I'm going to talk about something I'm passionate about, which is soccer. Once again, I'm sorry, teacher. So in September 1976, the VHS was invented. It was brought into the market and it was used for movies. Carlos Bilardo, which is Argentina's coach for the two World Cups in '86 and in 1990, they won the one in '86 and they lost the final in 1990. What he did, he was the first coach to use this VHS to show the players recordings of how the other teams play. So he implemented this in his analysis of rivals, and well, he was the first to do it. So I think that's a great example of being creative in the sports industry. Nowadays, we know that in soccer, in basket, in American football, they use video analysis and they have like every single piece of information and statistical data. But in this time, the only thing you could like you would only know how the other team played if you saw their formation or their lineup in the newspaper. That was it. So what this guy did, in the World Cup, he would get the whole team together in one room and in an old TV, which at that time, of course, wasn't old, but now we see it as a big box. He would use the VHS to show his players how the other teams played, and he won one World Cup and he placed second on the next one. So I think that's a great example. Thank you very much.